Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So this week we are going to make a super easy bouillon. It's a veggie bouillon and it's, very simple to pull together, and it's also very cheap to pull together. So it's a really good low cost option, and of course it's oil free, which makes us super happy that we can create a bouillon that we don't have to worry about. It is oil free. So I'm just showing you guys, I have these herbs from the backyard. If you're not fortunate enough to be able to dry your own, that's okay. Just go to the grocery store and buy these herbs, and they're very inexpensive, and you'll have a whole bag and you can use them in many different recipes. So I have some garlic powder, I have onion powder, I have the nutritional yeast, which is pretty vital for this recipe. I have paprika and dry parsley, and I also have dry oregano and some dry thyme, again from the backyard, but you can use whatever you can find. And if you don't like these herbs, add the ones that you normally use when you're cooking and that you prefer. I also added salt and pepper because I feel like that's very important to add in as well for extra flavor. But again, you decide on what you want to do. If you want to make it salt-free, then just don't put the salt in. So because my blender was wet from making a smoothie, I had to use my processor. This processor is pretty terrible. It's not very strong, so this is not my #1 thing to use for this recipe, but I had to roll with it, and this is what I decided to use. And also, many of you may not have a blender, so just know that you can make it in here. It's just not my favorite way of making it. So I'm just going ahead and adding in my dry herbs, and I have my oregano first. So I dry it in pretty big pieces, and same thing with the parsley. Like, I will have some stems in there because the stems have a lot of flavor as well. I know people usually discard them, but I do dry it with some of the stems as well. So I'm just throwing in all the parsley and the oregano and the thyme, and then I'm going to add all the other seasonings. So next I'm throwing in my paprika. I love paprika. I love the flavor that it gives. If you're not a huge fan of certain ingredients, then leave them out, or you can replace them with whatever herbs or spices that you prefer. So I'm adding a tablespoon of my onion powder and a tablespoon of the garlic powder. I really want those two flavors to stand out in my bouillon, so I'm going ahead and adding a bit more of those. So the only thing that I put less of was the paprika, which I put a teaspoon, and a teaspoon of the thyme. So I'm going in with 2 tablespoons of the nutritional yeast, and this is a really vital ingredient in this bouillon, so I would not skip this. You can skip other things like the herbs and spices, but please don't skip this part because it's very vital to the actual bouillon itself. It's like the star of the show basically. So yeah, add that in, and there's a lot of nutritional benefits as well, so you can look that up if you want to, but it's just a really big powerhouse of nutrition. So everything, actually, all the herbs, they all have nutritional benefits, which is fantastic. So when you're doing a homemade bouillon, you can feel so good about using these ingredients because all these extra health benefits are going into your food. So lastly is the salt and pepper, and I did put a tablespoon of salt because I do feel like I'm going to be needing that full tablespoon, and then just 1 teaspoon of the black pepper, and that's pretty much it. Now you're going to blend it up, and then you're going to put it in an airtight container and keep it stored in your pantry. Okay guys, so here is the final product. You see a lot of pepper residue just because it was flying around in there. And again, my processor is not the strongest, but I still made do and it worked out fine. So now you just need an airtight container, and I'll show you guys what I use. Just a small little mason jar is perfect for this, and that's what I'm going to transfer everything into. Okay guys, so this is how much I transferred into my little container, my mason jar, and it's not very much, as you can see. Normally I make double, but I'm just making this so that my mom can try, and I don't know if she's gonna like it. She usually buys like store-bought bouillon, but this is healthier, so I want her to try it and see if she likes it, and that way, you know, it's not going to waste. So I'm just making a little bit, and that way she can try it out. But yeah, normally I would make double and then keep this in an airtight container, and it will store very, very well. So to use this homemade bouillon, you're going to use 1 teaspoon of the bouillon powder, and you're going to mix it with 1 tablespoon of warm water. Mix it thoroughly, and then you're going to add it to whatever dish you're making, and it's going to add a fantastic added flavor, and you are getting all those health benefits of all of the herbs that we are using in the bouillon. And you don't have to worry about the store-bought stuff that's filled with a bunch of chemicals and stuff you can't pronounce, because you're making your own. Okay guys, thanks again for watching the video. This is it. This is my super easy veggie bouillon. I hope it's helpful for you. I hope that you can pass the recipe on to somebody who might find it useful as well. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support on the channel. I always appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are amazing. Thanks again, and stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.